Hey, how's it going? I'm Chris with PearsonCopy.com, and I'm here to help your brand make more sales with email. As part of my 100 emails in a 100-day challenge, I'm breaking down emails from e-commerce brands so that I can uncover and pull out insights that you can take back to your brand and use to make more sales with email. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and dive in with this breakdown of this welcome email from EverRoot. I believe it's a child company of Nestle Purina. So we'll go ahead and break this down. We'll start with the subject line here. Welcome to EverRoot. Have a look around. Two things. One, it's the standard welcome to the brand, welcome to the family subject line. But the CTA or the offer here isn't necessarily an incentive. It's more of a CTA to just have a look around. Two things. One, this is definitely a more subtle, softer CTA. Gets people potentially in the email with the expectation that they're going to be shared something, not necessarily being sold something. So I could get some opens. I could subtly get people into the email. The other thing about this is it does show a little bit of personality. Have a look around is definitely a more conversational tone as opposed to click here to open the link or click here to go to this page. This is definitely more has a little bit more of a subtle nuance to personality. So which I like that. I always like adding personality in. As we move down here, we're going to look at the brand name, the from name, and the from email. EverRoot goes with Nestle Purina as their from name, which I thought was interesting. This is a note that I didn't put, but I just thought was interesting is their brand name is EverRoot, but they're not using that as their email from name as a brand name. They're using Nestle, their parent company. So when it comes to that, I think this might cause a little bit of confusion if people say, hey, this is from EverRoot, but Nestle Purina is the one that's actually emailing. People may not know that EverRoot's a child company or associated with Nestle. So that's something that you could potentially look at with your own brand is make sure that the congruency from what you put in the subject line, what's the from name, what's the email, from email, make sure all that stuff clicks and makes sense. If there's any kind of friction, people are just going to scroll and pass and not even open. They're not going to give it a second chance once they see that, hey, this I'm not really sure about. I don't know if I don't remember signing up for this, and I don't really know what I'm going to get if I do go open this email, so I'm not going to do it. So that's something to keep in mind. Make sure your subject line, from name, and from email are congruent. Another thing about this email address is it looks like they are using a subdomain, so deliverability may be an issue. So something to do if your main domain has some deliverability issues is obviously you want to get that fixed and work back into having higher deliverability. One thing you do is do a subdomain and see if you can get your emails delivered more frequently and more often without having to do a lot of the legwork of getting your main domain fixed if it does have deliverability issues. So it could be a shortcut, but that's something you want to talk to an email tech person and strategist just to make sure you're moving in the right direction with the right action steps and your issues being diagnosed properly. So that's something just to keep a note here when you see that in emails and just for your own brand when you're looking for help with deliverability. Let's move down the email here. So we got the logo and the brand name over here on the right. It's a very small logo, which I think the simpler and cleaner the logo is, the better it is because then people are going to get into your email. The one thing here that I noticed is they have a menu here at the top, but it's not designed out. It's just plain text. It's capitalized letters and it's off to the right, so it's not dead center as you're scrolling down. Most of the time, your eyes are usually in the center when it comes to emails, reading left to right. So this may or may not cause friction, but I would maybe test without these. I'm not really sure how much these are actually getting clicked. Products, ingredients, and certifications; those are general categories. They're not really specific to potentially what a welcome email should or could have in it to get the open, click, and sale, at least on the first email. So maybe test removing this menu and seeing what that does to your clicks and potential sales. Next, we have the image here, which is a great image. It looks exciting. It looks like a fun time. It creates a positive association with the brand EverRoot. They have their welcome to EverRoot, which is just a signifier, one, welcoming people into the list, into the email, and also two, letting them know you're in the right place. You are at EverRoot. You did sign up for this. This is exactly what you're looking for. So that's something to keep in mind too, is in your first email, you want to make sure, or really in any email, you want to make sure that the reader is being reassured that they're in the right place. And that can be as simple as saying, welcome to EverRoot with a branded image, or you can say, hey, you signed up for X. This is why we're here giving you Z, things like that. Just making sure they're in the right place and reassuring them that they're there, that they're in the right email with the right brand, consuming the right content. That's something that can give you a boost in clicks and sales. Next element here in this email. Looks like we have a line of products. There's only a few here I can read. Maybe my eyesight's going bad, but this looks really small and there's not a whole lot. I have to kind of squint to see what these products are. I don't know what the value add is here. I don't see one with adding these products in. Yes, you're showing your product line, you're showing everything that you sell, but it's kind of hard to see what these actually are. I mean, I see heart health and skin and coat, and there's some here that I can't see at all. So potentially, if you're going to show a product line, maybe do a bigger image, or split these up into separate images so you can make them bigger so you can see what they are. Honestly, what I would do is to remove this image and test and see if that gets us better clicks and sales. But that's just a general thought here, is if you are going to use images, make sure they're big enough that the consumer and customer can read them. They can't read them if they're going to consider buying your products. If you make something hard to do, people most likely aren't going to do it when it comes to email. So keep that in mind. Next, we're happy you're here, and then we're here to help. So this section here, letting the reader know that the brand is happy and excited to connect, so that you're here. It's another positive association. And then here, this paragraph, this sentence, something I thought was interesting is EverRoot mentions two main category or two call outs for potential problems or pain points or desires, right? It depends on how you look at this, but it could be any of those. So adding supplements to your dog's regimen or diet, and then completely new to supplements world for your dogs. So those are two types of customers. So you call them avatars, right? So these are the two big challenges or pain points or reasons that they're here. And I think EverRoot calls those out nicely. The thing that I think they're missing here is going into either of those two or both of them, and just kind of expanding on what does it mean that you're in the search for adding supplements to your dog's regimen. Like show me that you know that I'm doing that. Or with your completely new to the supplement world avatar, show me that you know that I'm completely new and help me figure out what I'm supposed to buy for my dog. So that's something I think they're a little skim on here, is expanding into those avatars and really talking about those pain points and showing the reader that if they're one or the other, you understand them. When it comes to empathy and connecting with people, showing them that you understand them with a story or just copy that basically shares the pain and what it feels like, things like, and what it does to the customer or for them or against them, that helps connect with people on a deeper level emotionally. So that's something to consider here with this copy. Otherwise, I think they're moving in the right direction. The last big section here before the footer, when you buy EverRoot, you can count on, and these are basically the big four reasons why you should buy from EverRoot. These are the big four features, right? Something that I'm assuming is when you click this Learn More button, it goes into all four of these and it explains more of what they mean, why they matter to the customer, and how they can get it. So your benefits and your dimensionalization of these features. I think they could add some more benefits to these and then dimensionalize them in this email if they wanted to do that. But having people click through to Learn More. It does follow up with follow the theme with have a look around, but it doesn't seem like a direct CTA to what you would want out of a first email. The people that sign up to get an incentive like this form promised are basically for people that are ready to buy. Anybody that doesn't buy on that first, second, or potentially third email, now you're just nurturing a relationship and you're trying to figure out how to build trust with them and show them like, hey, you can trust us. This is why you're here. Here's how we can help. So that's something here to maybe consider is give me a couple benefits per these points, and then dimensionalize it for me, and then ask me to click to learn more. It'll give these pieces of these pieces of features here for the brand a little more push when it comes to the sale or to the action you want people to take. Next, we have this contact us section. I do kind of like this. It's not something I see very often. It is from a bigger brand, which makes sense. But people's preferred mode of communication, you have phone, you have write us, so you can write by mail, and then you have digital or electronic where you can write by email. This definitely opens up the door to communication and replies from people. However, if they write you or they call you, you're not able to push that as a positive for your deliverability as email. So I would potentially say, depending on how this works when it comes to metrics and how it's performing, I would potentially just replace this entire section with reply to this email with questions or whatever, and then have your support team push that to where it needs to be pushed. Getting replies in emails is definitely a positive deliverability and email sender association when it comes to providers like Google, Yahoo, Hotmail. I don't know why I just said Hotmail, and Apple and all those things, right? When they see replies, their customers, their email users reply to your brand through email. It's a positive association. It's a positive signal, right? So potentially just change this to reply to the email. I know people prefer to communicate in different ways, but that's just going to help with deliverability. And then finally, your footer section, you have your social icons, you have your why you signed up information, address, and some copyright and potential disclaimers and stuff. So that's pretty much it for this email, a little bit shorter one. But yeah, go ahead and take these insights back if you found any that you found interesting. Take these back to your brand and see if you can use them to make more sales with email. If you can and you do, then let me know. I'd enjoy talking to you about it and seeing how you ended up doing that with the insight from this video. Otherwise, check out my other videos on YouTube where I break down emails as part of my 100 emails 100 day challenge. With that being said, thanks for watching.